moment, Jungkook harmonizing with Hobi, wasn't planned. Not really. It was instinct meeting instinct, a spark meeting oxygen. And if you'd been standing there, you would have felt it too, that strange pressure behind your ribs, a tug that told you something rare was happening right in front of you. The producers froze. The engineers leaned closer. Even the air conditioner, whining for hours, seemed to quiet down to listen. The session had started like any other, layered beats, a steady rhythm, a few takes to warm up, the usual creative banter. But as the night deepened, something shifted. Maybe it was exhaustion turning into clarity, or the fact that they'd been chasing a sound they couldn't quite describe, something hopeful, something urgent, something that felt like rising even when everything around you keeps telling you to stay on the ground. Hobi was the first to step into that feeling. He always had a way of doing that, turning raw emotion, into rhythm, into something alive. His voice came warm and grounded, carrying a pulse that felt like the heartbeat of the track. And then Jungkook joined him, his tone lifting the edges of the melody, lighting it up from the inside out. Together, they didn't just sing, they transformed the room. The harmonies wrapped around each other like twin currents, building, tightening, stretching upward as if reaching for something past the ceiling, past the night, past the limits of whatever anyone thought music could do. It felt like the story of every dream that ever tried to outrun gravity. The kind of moment you don't recognize as life-changing until it's already changed you, but the real twist, the kind that no one saw coming, happened halfway through the take. Hobi paused. Not because he missed a note, not because anyone asked him to stop. He just stepped back. Something in the sound pulled at him, like an echo from a memory he hadn't realized was still alive. And Jungkook, instead of filling the space with more sound, softened. His voice shifted into something lighter, almost fragile, a whisper with wings. The room felt suspended. A single breath stretched into 100. And then, slowly, Hobi stepped forward again. This time, his voice didn't just harmonize, it carried a story, one carved from years of pushing forward when forward didn't feel possible. Jungkook met him note for note, emotion for emotion, and for a brief, perfect span of time, it was like listening to hope rebuild itself in real time. The engineers exchanged glances. They knew what they were capturing wasn't just another line, not just another layer. It was the kind of synergy artists chase for years, the kind that becomes the heartbeat of a track, the moment fans replay over and over just to feel that spark again. As the final harmony faded, no one spoke. Not at first. The silence wasn't empty, it was charged. Heavy. Reverent. And then, as if the room collectively remembered how to breathe, someone whispered, "Did you all just hear that?" Because they had. Everyone had. They'd heard a moment that wasn't crafted by strategy or rehearsed into shape. It was born straight out of instinct, trust, and the kind of creative energy that only appears when passion and pressure collide. Later, the team would play it back, again and again, trying to understand what made it feel so powerful. Maybe it was the blend of tones, or the contrast of grounded warmth and soaring clarity. Maybe it was the way the harmonies seemed to rise higher than the melody itself, like a voice learning to fly, but those explanations never felt complete. Because the truth was simpler and harder to articulate, something about that moment felt alive, and that feeling stayed, long after the track ended, long after the studio lights dimmed, long after the night dissolved into a new morning. It lingered the way unforgettable music always does, settling into the space between memory and emotion. People talk about iconic harmonies, legendary studio moments, collaborations that redefine what music can be. But what happened that night wasn't just technical brilliance. It was connection. It was trust. It was a reminder that even in a world full of noise, there are still moments where sound becomes something more, something that lifts, expands, transforms. Something that reminds you that you, too, have wings. And if you're feeling that pull right now, that little spark of curiosity, that urge to keep listening, follow it. Hold on to it, because stories like this, moments like this, don't just fade. They grow. If you want more behind-the-scenes stories, deep dive narratives, and powerful moments from the world of music and creativity, stay with me. Tap that follow. Hit like. Share this with someone who needs a reminder that passion can still surprise you. And if you're ready for the next story, you know exactly where to find it.